Lovely, 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 wonderful people. A pleasant afternoon to everybody. All right, beautiful people. So I know Jamaicans, many Jamaicans have been listening out for a particular verdict to take place, which has actually taken place this afternoon, today. And let me read the article on the online gleaners, and the caption says former PNP MP what's his name? Jolyan, is it Jolyan Silvera? Jolyan Silvera get 20 years and 10 months in prison for killing his wife. I've seen people putting something about 40 years, and I'm like, what? Is it 20 years running concurrently or whatever it is? But what I've been getting is people saying 20 years and 10 months, and with good behavior, I suppose, or after 13 years, you're eligible for parole. And I'm sure, obviously, with good behavior and whatnot. So it says former People's National Party Member of Parliament is Jolyan Silvera is to serve 20 years and 10 months in prison for the killing of his wife, Melissa Silvera, in 2023. In handing down sentencing, Chief Justice Brian Sykes gave Silvera 20 years for manslaughter and 20 years and 10 months for using a firearm to commit an offense. Both sentences are to run concurrently, so he will serve 20 years and 10 months in prison. He must serve 13 years before being eligible for parole. Silvera, who was originally charged with murder, pleaded guilty to manslaughter in February. Among other things, the judge said Silvera committed a deliberate and voluntary act. You see, they don't know the words. A deliberate and voluntary act. I mean, I am no lawyer. There were years ago I said I wanted to do it and didn't. But I still am not. Maybe somebody who is an expert can explain to me how deliberate, voluntary, and manslaughter go together. I don't understand that phenomena. That triage, I don't get. Perhaps somebody can explain, because if it's deliberate and voluntary, how does it now become manslaughter as opposed to murder, cold-blooded, first-degree murder? For me, it's tough, because I don't get it. Let's go. Chief Justice Brian Sykes noted that from the time of his wife's death, Silvera knew that he was the one who had shot her. It was also stated in court that it was the couple's children who discovered their mother's lifeless body and called their father, who then returned home. Boy, me tell, and una tell me say Lifetime movie fake. No, Lifetime movie this. The father always gone and somebody else discovers it and him come with the sobbing face. The crocodile tears. The crocodile tears, as my mother used to call it back in the day. The judge said the businessman pretended, and again, me how pretend and manslaughter go together. How them go together? Judge? The judge said the businessman pretended to be surprised about the death of his wife. Lifetime movie, really, here, people. Not more than them go to cold case. I saw that already. That they went to the cold case files, people, and they get the story and they put it in a movie format. Yes, they have to put a little dramatism in it, or dramatization in it, for the movie to be palatable, for you want to watch it. But the storyline, the message behind it is the same. So they can't tell me, no, me will continue to watch Element. Yes, we used to pull back from it, but I realize it's real as they get. The court also heard that forensic and ballistic testing revealed signs of deliberate action involving his licensed firearm. So how it turned to manslaughter? Because he pleaded guilty? When he's cold-blooded? Sykes said that when the matter came up in February, Silvera sought to have his own forensic testing done. Hey, Lord. Even though he knew what had happened and that he had shot his wife. The Chief Justice said it appeared to him that Silvera was seeking to maneuver around the ballistic evidence, which was the anchor of the Crown's case. Sykes remarked that it was only after those results were confirmed that Silvera realized he had no wiggle room. So in a cure when him go, it's like him get stick up. If him go left, him get stick up. Him go right, him get stick up. If him go backward, him get stick up. If him go forward, him get stick up. And him turn this in a manslaughter. Look here. Yes, and this is the judge speaking now. Yes, you would have accepted responsibility, but it seems to me that the acceptance came after, based on the quality of the work of the local ballistic expert, the judge said. He continues, it suggested an effort to disguise, cover up, and the science put naught to that. Naught means zero, doesn't, null and void, basically. Melissa Silvera, 42, fairly young. Melissa Silvera, 42, was found dead at the couple's Stony Hill St. Andrew home in November 2023. The case took a dramatic turn after an autopsy in December 2023 revealed she had been shot, prompting a murder investigation and Silvera's subsequent charge for murder and using a firearm to commit a felony. Oh, Lord. I have to compose myself when I read them madness here. I'm seeing a lot of these descriptive words, these adjectives, and yet his sentencing is on the basis of manslaughter. Me don't know. I guess me never learn a thing in a school. Me head tough. Maybe it's a blank slate. And I'm yet to learn. He pleaded guilty to manslaughter in February just as his trial was due to start, citing provocation. Mind you, they said, I did a video in a way, do not provoke people to wrath. But in this case, listen to me, people. You see them nonsense there? All right. Citing provocation from his wife during an argument. We have to be careful of subtle narcissism. Where they play upon words. It's like there was some of these church people who like to use scripture out of context to suit their narrative, to suit their position. We have to be very careful of these little malevolent subtleties. We have to be very keen and careful and vigilant where they are concerned. So he pleaded guilty to manslaughter in February just as his trial was due to start, citing provocation from his wife during an argument. Then other times before you never did provoked. So how I know you do it after how many years of marriage? 10, 12? What is it? The straw that had broken the camel's back? You're going to say? Is it something that it was a tumultuous kind of a marriage then? Look here. Let me read. It's almost finished. Chief Justice Brian Sykes considered factors including the guilty plea, the timing of the admission, and aggravating circumstances in imposing the sentence. Definitely the timing of his admission. When he realized him back against the wall and him get stick up everywhere. All right, let me say this. Plead guilty to manslaughter. The case has drawn widespread public attention, particularly after relatives and members of public staged protests calling for a long prison term. Silvera was represented by King's Counsel Peter Champagny and attorney Patrice Riley. And this is giving the different whatever it is in terms of the case itself. Let me tell you something. You see God in heaven above, he's not sleeping. And I know this timeline that he has gotten 20 years and 10 months. And with basically they're saying and this is how I'm interpreting it, with good behavior, after 13 years he can be paroled. But God not sleep. So you see, if the laws of the land can't deal with you, good and proper, sir, the laws of God will. That's why God says, vengeance is his, he will repay. And I trust him in that. I'll leave you to him. Guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe, give me one of those lands, and follow me on Instagram.